Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first pitch dinner. How to round of applause for our Purple Eagles baseball players who are here tonight in their uniforms. Well, it didn't feel like baseball weather this week. Tomorrow and Monday, it's a little bit warmer. And Coach has already told me there's a good chance they'll be outside at some point in the next few days. So that's good on that new field. My name is Tom Burns. It's my pleasure to serve as our Master of Ceremonies for tonight's event. We have a great event scheduled for you. Thank you for being here with us. Give yourselves a round of applause supporting the Purple Eagles baseball here in February. Great to have so many people here with us. To get things started this evening, it's my pleasure to introduce our Director of Athletics. Please welcome Mr. Simon Gray. Simon?
Thank you, Tom. As Tom was saying earlier, it's clear that this event gets bigger and bigger every year, and so we're so thankful that you've joined us. One of the exciting things to me is that each year it seems like more alumni are coming back. And clearly this is your program. So it's wonderful that you still feel invested in Niagara baseball. And I can say, from my perspective, the athletic director's seat, you have a lot to be proud of. These guys here in the purple jerseys work incredibly hard, not just on the field, but in the classroom. And they're sort of our go-to on campus for service. Parents, you deserve a lot of credit. Those who have brought these young men up, because not only do they do it, but they do it well. And they do it with an Vincentian spirit. So how about a round of applause for our guys and all their service. And that goes for the alums too. I know that's always been a big part of Niagara baseball, and that makes me very, very proud. It's hard to believe that 1 year ago we were standing here in anxious anticipation to open the brand new John Bobo Field, and what a great year it was on the field. A lot of highlights from the team and a sparkling facility. The best facility we feel in our conference and in this region. And I want to take this chance again to thank all of you who have contributed to making that field possible. Several people in this room also couldn't have been done without contributions from other people. Our work is not done. So we are actively looking for naming rights at the field. It will always remain John Bobo Field, but the complex can certainly be named. So if anyone in this room has interest, or you know of folks that may be interested in putting their name on the field, that is something that we're looking to do to finish off the funding for the field and also to move our program forward. One of the important things about the fundraising for the field was that we made a lot of connections in the community and within the baseball family, and we want to keep that going because there's so much more that we want to do for our baseball program and for our young men here who certainly deserve an elite student-athlete experience. So thank you for being here tonight. By you being here, that shows that you're already invested, and we look forward to continuing your contributions and reaching out and bringing more people into the fold. So thank you so much for being here. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Simon, for all you're doing for your leadership in the athletic department. It would be wonderful tonight if you won a basket or one of the auction items, but the Powerball is about 190 million. So if we get out of here early enough and get a ticket there, win the Powerball, name the complex, be perfect. Perfect. Set it all up for you. So we have a reason to move through tonight. We do have a great program scheduled for you. Following our dinner, we'll hear from Coach McCoy, and we'll hear from one of the Niagara alums that Simon spoke of, Mike Medici, who's with the Texas Rangers organization. It would be great to have them. I do want to just point out a few people who are with us tonight. Niagara University has a legacy of being a Catholic and Vincentian university. The Vincentians are sponsoring tonight's event, one of the sponsors. So members of the Vincentian community who support Niagara, thank you for being with us tonight. How about a round of applause for this Vincentians ever present at the campus. Of special note, my pleasure to welcome our President Emeritus, Joseph L. Levesque. Father Joseph Levesque is with us. Father, thanks for being with us. Always great to have Father at these events. And it is my pleasure to introduce, for the invocation tonight, the Reverend Vincent O'Malley. Father, please come forward.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We praise and thank God and our parents for the gift of giving us life. We thank God and our parents for our health of mind and body, heart and soul. We thank our parents, coaches, trainers, teachers, administrators for the opportunities that they have provided us to develop our talents academically and athletically. We are grateful to our teammates who teach us the importance of working together, cooperating, assisting, forgiving, laughing, standing up after falling down, enjoying the ecstasy, and learning from the agony. All this we do in praise of God, in service of others, and in hopes of lots of wins. We make this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Father. Always good to pray for some wins. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your dinner tonight. We'll be back afterwards with our program. Thanks for coming out tonight. And good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. How about a nice round of applause for our staff here tonight? The 4 Points did a great job with dinner tonight. We're going to begin our program here. We have a couple real quick videos we do want to show you. They're great pieces put together. But before we do that, I do want to recognize a few more people here who are with us. The president of Niagara University, Father James Marr, could not be with us tonight. He's traveling. He's in Washington, D.C. for a series of board meetings. But a few members of his cabinet are here. Please welcome Dr. Derek Wesley, who's the Vice President of Institutional Management. The Reverend Kevin Cray, CM, is with us. He's a member of Father's cabinet. And you've already heard from the athletic director, Simon Gray, a member of Father Marr's cabinet. So thank you to leadership of the university for being here. Also want to thank Mike Jeswald and a number of his students from his hospitality class for helping organize tonight's event. Mike, thanks for your work on the event tonight. A few other students have played key roles here. Brianna Jacobs, thank you to your work, Brianna. And our next gentleman here is going to sneak in behind me and start the videos, Kyle Barker. Kyle, thanks for your work tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it is, as we gear up for the season, we do want to take a look back. A number of players will be graduating this year. Our first video tonight, we want to honor the senior members of the baseball team.
My favorite memory would be the dog pile after we won our last game of the season on our home field. All of our hard work paid off. Just seeing everybody play their part and come together and play as one was amazing. Just it all coming down to one moment. I'll never forget it. My advice to the players would be, you all came here for a reason because the coaching staff believes in you and believes you have the talent, so be confident in yourself. You're going to struggle and times may seem tough, but know you have 30-plus guys in the coaching staff that are behind you and believe in you at all times. And they believe you can do well. So keep working hard and don't give up. Accept the challenge and give it all you got.
Out of all the years of facing setbacks, including Tommy John surgery, I think my favorite memory has to be making my college debut last year against Cornell. It was extra special because my mom, my sister, and my grandmother were able to come to the game. Advice I would give to the freshmen coming in and the younger guys is to not take anything for granted. Your time will go faster than you think, so cherish some memories and have fun.
My best memory at Niagara is just all the friends that I made in my 5 years here, and those are lifelong friendships that I'll cherish forever. My advice to the young guys is don't take your health for granted. You never know what might come up, so just live every day being grateful for the opportunity you have to play Division I baseball, to get an education, and that you have health and happiness in the future. Best of luck.
Out of the hundreds of memories that I've made over the last 5 years as a Purple Eagle, I must say one that sticks out the most has to be making the tournament last year. That memory means so much to me because of all the behind-the-scenes stuff that went into it, how close our team was, and just how much fun it was overall. That was just the beginning of what this program is capable of, and I'm excited to see what we do this year as well as the years to come. When it comes to the advice I would give the younger guys, it's the same advice I've given them over the course of the fall. Just always have fun, stay confident no matter what. Don't stress the small things and always put in the work because the work you put in is going to directly reflect the results you get in the end. With that being said, this is my last year as a Purple Eagle. I just want to thank everyone that's been a part of this journey. Let's get after it.
My favorite memory was finally getting to the MAC tournament, something the program hadn't done in a long time. Finally making my first year was a nice prize to the end of a strong year. Some advice for some of the younger guys from me would be that I've learned a lot in my travels through college, and I've loved them, but they are quick. So make mistakes, have fun, and be the hammer, not the nail.
As far as memories go, I've got too many great ones to pick a favorite. I'm just thankful for all the experiences I've had and the relationships I've formed during my time here. The only piece of advice I'll give to the younger guys is to always remember why you play the game. Whether you play for the love of the game or any other reason, use it to motivate you to work hard, because your 4 years here will pass by quicker than you can even imagine.
My most memorable moment was winning the last game of the regular season against Manhattan on our home field to make it into the tournament. My advice to the younger guys is don't count the days, make the days count. 5 years has gone by so fast for me, and I'm lucky to have my 5th year. Young guys and everyone, don't wait till tomorrow to do something when you can do that thing today. Try to do something each day to get 1% better, because if you get 1% better each day, that adds up over time. So start today by getting 1% better.
Now, for those of you that don't know, there is a culture on the campus of Niagara University that started about 5 or 6 years ago that when we have a snow day, students tend to tweet my name, Thomas Burns, hashtag Thomas Burns. The first time it happened 6 years ago, I trended to number 2 in the world. So there's that. And it has happened, and the other day I trended number 2 in New York, or not 2, but in New York State. I was trending in New York State. I was disappointed to hear of the best memories of all the senior class that nobody mentioned hashtag Thomas Burns. So that's it. No more off days this year, guys. You'll hear the school is closed, the baseball team must report. Turn your attention to the video screen again for a highlight video of the Purple Eagles.
All right, is everybody ready? You know where you're throwing? Count it down with me, everybody, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
At the end of the day, what I'm trying to do here as the coach of this program is to get these guys to establish what that purpose is, and that the winning, the making the playoffs or the winning the conference and all that stuff, that's going to happen. That's an ancillary benefit of having the best program that we could ever have and the pride that we have in that program.
Of course, this year's team's slotted to be even better, right, guys? I know I thank the staff here at the 4 Points. One thing that maybe went unnoticed, you were all asked to eat and to go to the buffet, which was wonderful, before the baseball team went up and crushed it at the end. So had they gone first, there may not have been as much food. So we're pleased with the staff to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to serve as the MC for this dinner, and I always get a great treat out of introducing this next gentleman. Please welcome the coach of the Purple Eagles, Rob McCoy.
That was a good video, huh? It's a lot better video when it's full of things that went really well. First of all, I want to start by thanking everybody. This is amazing. I mean, the guys know how emotional I am when I talk to them about really good stuff, and just to see all the people in the room, it's very humbling. I might have said this before in past years, but when we started doing this, it was basically we just wanted to get people around our guys. We wanted to get people in the room. We wanted to get, everybody to feel like they're involved in a program. We're trying to build a program here, not just a team. We're not just working on, being transactional. We want to have a transformational team. We want guys to see how much excitement there can be for them and how much support there is behind them, so that they know what they're working for every day, day in and day out. And nothing says it better like the way this event has evolved and the support that you guys all have for us. And to kick this season off with so many people in the room and so many people supportive of what we're doing it's just awesome. And I'm so very thankful for you guys doing that. So I appreciate it. So this is my opportunity to brag on the team. That's what my role is here tonight. And I love this part of it. We've got so many great players. Over the years, there's been trials and tribulations, and when you meet these guys and you're around this team and you're around their parents, you realize that there's way more to baseball than just wins and losses here at Niagara, and that's what's important. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm gonna talk about our culture. Basically, if you guys haven't seen, for the last 4 years we've worked on establishing a culture of Eagles, excellence, accountability, grit, love, energy, and selfless. We talk about it every day. Those are the things that are important to us. We have a guy every day, a different guy speaks on one of those core values and what it means to us. And we've recently added. Last year we talked about legacy. Those of you who were last year, we talked about the legacy that we wanted to leave as a team, and I think that really pushed us over the edge because we had a great group of seniors that really bought into that and that really wanted to change the program from the way it had been for so many years. I know that we've got a group of players in this room that when they were here, they had an outstanding team, and we've fought like crazy since the days they were here. They were the last team to make the tournament, the 2006 team. They're raising their hand in case you guys want to know. So our keynote is from that team. Our keynote was a senior on that team. So those guys have shared a lot of success. Arguably one of the best group of guys that have ever been at Niagara, and that's what we're fighting to get back to where we show up at the park every day, and teams are intimidated to play us by how we go about our business, and that's just on the field stuff. Okay, so I'm going to start with academics. Last spring we were excellent again. I know that I bragged on our fall last year, but during the spring, so you have to put this in perspective. We play a little over 50 games, right? So these guys they're traveling. We're traveling Thursday. We're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're getting back after midnight on Monday. They have to go to class. They're in class. If the weather's good, we're playing Tuesday. Then we're practicing Wednesday, traveling Thursday, playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, etc. It goes on and on and on. So the fact that we got a 3.24 as a GPA as a team last year in the spring. 25 guys were above a 3.0, 15 guys were above a 3.5, and one guy got a 4.0. Cody Eckerson, grad school. Nice. Stand up, Cody. Okay. 15 All-MAC academic selections. It was tied for first in the MAC. 25 MAC academic honor roll selections, which was far and away of the first place in the MAC of all the baseball teams. This fall, we had a 3.19 GPA. 23 with a 3.0, 14 above a 3.5, and 1 a 4.0, and that was Drew Patton. Stand up, Drew. Community service. So we did something. So we did our Too Good to Toss. We always do that. We help the. We really want to be helpful on campus, and with numbers makes things a lot easier for a lot of people, and we realize that, and we understand that. So we're always taking the opportunity to help where we can, and we do the Too Good to Toss, which means basically what happens is when the kids move out of the dorms, they just leave everything they don't want, and in collections we go help pick it up and deliver it into the gym so that they can basically resell it. Which is a good thing. That's a good thing for everybody involved. We also did Adopt a Family again this year, where we provided gifts for people around the community in Niagara Falls. And we did something new this year, which was part of the Reverend Joseph L. Levesque CM Institute for Civic Engagement, which was linking literacy to movement, where we went to the Niagara Community Center at Niagara Catholic and worked with the kids, the underprivileged kids learning the game of baseball. So that was a good thing for our guys, and we're about to do that again coming up Tuesday here. So it'll be a good experience. So the goal is for us to do as well in the classroom as we can, and do as well off the field as we can. Because we believe that if we do all those things and we just live excellence in our program and we live our culture, that everything else will take care of itself. Which so far so good it has been. And I think the guys that are on the team right now have a much better experience than even the teams that I've had in the past when I first started out. So that really that makes me feel a lot better about what we're doing. And the seniors, all the seniors on last year's team graduated either last spring or this fall from either their undergrad or their graduate program. So that's something to be very proud of for our team and for those guys. Okay, between the lines, like I said, our culture of excellence has been great. There's a ton of accountability in our program. Guys work very, very hard. We are at a point where a freshman can come into our program and they can immediately see what they need to do and how they need to be. And that's more important to me than anything, that our upperclassmen have set the tone and they set an ideal standard that needs to be met. And that started 2 or 3 years ago, and there's a lot of guys in this room that helped start that. And that's one thing that I think when a player is in the program and he's a senior, and for a couple of years there, even though things were starting to go better, we weren't really winning, and it's really tough for a kid to still have the mettle to do well and to do good things, knowing that they might not get to experience the reward from that. And so kudos to them, because there's guys in this room here that did that, and we're a better program because of it. MAC tournament. We finally made the MAC tournament again. Holy cow, that took forever. So give it a lot. I think we don't. It's kind of fascinating if you think about it, but we don't really talk about the school on Main Street very much, which is good. But to have both teams from Western New York that are in the MAC make the MAC tournament is a testament to the players in this area. It's a testament to the work that goes on and the ability of our two universities and our two institutions to attract quality players. And that there's no reason why that shouldn't continue. We should always be in there, and it gives me a sense of pride that our team can be in there when we're in Niagara Falls, and it never fails. You go recruiting, and the first thing, man, it must be really hard to recruit to Niagara. And to be honest with you, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It's an excellent university. We've got an excellent thing going, and you just have to find the right people that you want in the room that want to be a part of it, and that's what makes all the difference. And these guys have all bought in. They've all bought in. I'll call a warm weather place, and they'll say, I don't even beat around the bush. They said, if you don't like the cold weather, then when I call you next time, don't answer the phone. I said, I have 35 players that don't care about how cold it is, and that's what matters. Okay. 3 All-MAC players last year. We had the MAC Player of the Year for the 4th time in program history. Greg Cullen. And then we had 2 second-team All-MAC selections in Trevor McCauley and Owen DeZitis. And then, obviously we had a much better season as a team, but we can't say enough about what Greg was able to do last year. I'm going to list some stuff off just so you guys can celebrate what kind of year he had, because it's very rare, and it's something that our players do strive for. And I love the fact that 4 years ago, we had a Buffalo Bills fan which I don't know if he would have come here if he wasn't such a Buffalo Bills fan. He was a fan of the underdog. He actually told me that. He's like, I want to go someplace that's not good so I can help make them good. And he was right. He did. But he bought into our program 4 years ago, and then worked hard and put himself in a position to succeed at the level he succeeded at. And he, along with other guys in his class and the class above him, were able to set a tone for excellence and what was expected and what was possible, to be honest with you. Okay, so I appreciate that, Greg. It's been a pleasure coaching you. I'm glad that it's worked out the way that it has for you. But in addition to MAC Player of the Year, Greg was the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association District 2 Player of the Year, ABCA Rawlings All Northeast Region Player, Collegiate Baseball and National Collegiate Baseball Writers Second Team All-American, ABCA Rawlings First Team All-American, and he was drafted in the 15th round by the Atlanta Braves. So let's give Greg a... So Greg led the country in hitting, which is pretty impressive. So needless to say, that'll garner a lot of accolades, okay? And to have it's pretty wild if you guys really think about seeing, Greg calling Niagara at the top of the Division I leaderboard for batting average. It's a pretty cool thing to have any of our players have success at that level. So Greg, that marks the way our program's headed is, like I've said many times on this podium, is that if our program gets better, our culture gets better, and how we're developing players as people and baseball players gets better, the team gets better, and each player theoretically will get better. We've had 2 All-Americans in 3 years, and that's the only 2 All-Americans we've had in Niagara baseball, and we've had 5 pros in 4 years, and we've got a couple guys on our team that will be pros this upcoming year. So like I said, the culture creates a work ethic in these guys that drives them to be the best they can possibly be, and that's why you're seeing that on the field. Okay, so I appreciate the guys, especially the guys that are no longer a part of this program, that have graduated, that put the work in to put us in the situation we are to develop players the way we can. Okay, all right. Having said that, that's my brag for today. I'm really proud of these guys. They've worked hard. I'm excited about this spring. It's a different team. I'm looking forward to finding out how this team's going to win and how we're going to go about doing that and what we're going to bring to the table. They're all confident. They're all prepared. We're ready to go. We've got 2 weeks before we play, which sounds crazy, but we do. And I'm looking forward to getting out there and putting these guys up against any team in the country that we want to play. Our hope is to get to the MAC tournament, win the MAC tournament, and get this team to a regional. Okay. Having said that, I'm excited about our keynote. He's an awesome guy, and I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. Thank you all for coming and being here.
Thanks, Coach. Nice job. It is my pleasure to introduce Mike, of course, and let me just run down some accolades from him. He played for the Purple Eagles from 03 to 06, those 4 seasons. He was a 3-time All-MAC selection. He was a Baseball America preseason all-conference team member 2 times. After graduating, he was an assistant coach at the College of St. Rose and at another college, who, by the way, this week was 0-1 in the Gallagher Center in basketball, if you're trying to figure out who that other college was. He has gone on to become a Major League Baseball scout for 10 years with the Toronto Blue Jays first and now the Texas Rangers. It is my pleasure to introduce a member of the class of 06, Mike Medici. Mike.
I am a little bit parched. We landed at 12:30 and I was at Duff's by 1 o'clock. And I think I had about 15 hot wings. I'll tell you what, enjoy them while you're here, because you may end up in Indiana like me, where B-dubs is a delicacy. To the players, that's impressive. What Coach McCoy just ran down, Greg, obviously what you did last year, and I was fully aware of it. I was all over our guy But hey, man, make sure you get up to Niagara. But you guys are paving the way. You really are. I think, you know, of course, I can talk about our class and up from 02 to 06. I think we did some great things here. Just to hear everything, especially in the classroom. I wasn't Mr. Academic, but congrats. What you guys are doing in the classroom, all those all-MAC, student athlete selections. I never won any. You didn't hear any of that when they introduced me. It's been 13 years since I've graduated. I can't believe it's been 13 years. I'm sure those guys over there can't believe it's been 13 years. 4 years goes by even quicker. It's incredible how fast it goes. And I think it's important to reflect on your years here and year after year. You know, each year, take some time. What did I accomplish this year? What do I need to build on? What do I need to improve? Because when you look back, as I said, it goes quick. You know, don't have any regrets. There's no do-overs. You know, I tried to come back 3 times. Mr. Gentile told me, no, you're done. You're out. He waived 5 classes for me so I could just graduate. You know, there's a term they use in college athletics. It's student athlete. Goes in that order for a reason. Something that I didn't always follow. I was a ball player first, student second. I look back now, a student can represent a few different things. You can be a student in the classroom, you can be a student of the game. Either way, you always want to be learning. There's one thing I wish I could have changed, though, when I was here, and that's ask more questions and have less answers. My father always preached to me, you have 2 ears for a reason and 1 mouth. I did not utilize my resources as well as I would have liked. I was not the most self-aware person. I liked my strengths, and as those guys over there, they'll tell you, yeah, he liked his strengths. He didn't really care about his weaknesses too much. But knowing what I know now, it's important as a person to know yourself better than anybody, especially moving forward. I think it's important, be honest with yourself. I mean, it's easy to just sit there, well, you know, I could maybe work on this, work on that. You know, be straightforward. Trust yourself. I think that's the biggest thing I learned from one of our coaches. He's not a hitting coach with the Cubs. It's just believe in yourself as a player. Quick story. There's a story about a successful businessman who was growing old and knew it was time to choose a successor to take over his business. Instead of choosing a director, he did something different. He said he was going to give each person a seed. I want you to plant this seed and water it, and come back in a year from today, and let's see what you have grown. I will judge the plants and appoint the next CEO. A man by the name of Jim, like the others, went home excitedly, told his wife the story, and she helped him pot it, soil, compost it, and plant it. Jim planted the seed, and every day he would water it and watch to see if it would grow. After a few weeks, some of the executives in the office began to talk about the seeds and plants that they were growing. Jim kept checking, but nothing had grown. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, still nothing had grown. Jim had feared he had killed it. Finally, a year went by. All the executives returned with their plants for inspection. Feeling defeated, Jim took his pot, and there was nothing in it but soil. When the CEO arrived, he surveyed the room, saw the great plants and flowers that everyone had grown. In the back, he saw Jim holding the empty pot and called him to the front of the room. The CEO asked Jim what had happened. He began to tell his story. The CEO asked everyone to sit down except for Jim. He looked at Jim and announced he was the new CEO. All stunned, the CEO said, I gave everyone boiled seeds. They were dead and unable to grow. The only way those plants would have grown if you had substituted the seeds. Jim was the only one who displayed honesty. As a player, like I said, be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, what gets you up in the morning? What makes you tick? I ask this to guys all the time. What are your drivers? Whether it be in baseball or in your future career. What's your story? I think everybody has a story. Think about what got you here today. You know, there's a player I signed in 2 years ago. 35th round high school player from Northside Chicago. His name's Gene Casanova. And I am overly convinced this kid's going to pitch in the big league at some point. Nobody was really on him. He was an 86, 88 on a good day. 6'4", 150-pound pitcher, and he's from Dominican Republic. Came over here when he was 11 years old and didn't speak a whole lot of English. Ended up settling with some family up in Chicago. And Gene was always against the 8 ball. He was trying to learn the standards of education in a language that he really wasn't familiar with, and he struggled. And I remember, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but Gene never spoke English around me. The minute we signed him, it was like fluent. Like, where'd this come from? And I said, what do you want with this? And he said, you know, I want to build a better life for my family. I want to build a house for my mother and take care of them. You know, and that was his story. And to this day, he is one of our most loved players. He has been absolutely outstanding. He's obviously now bilingual, and he helps the younger pitchers, especially from the Latin American countries. You know, and that was one of the reasons we took a chance on him. He had something, there was something inside just burning. I've been fortunate to work in professional baseball for 10 years. Many ask, what does it take to be a scout? The answer is very simple. Be a bad player. That's how I got here. During your years here at Niagara, and even years to come, opportunities will come, and sometimes when you do not expect it. My opportunity came in 2008. The WBC was in Toronto, and when I was coaching at Canisius, Mike McCray was good friends with Andrew Tinish. If you're a Blue Jay fan, Andrew is now the assistant GM. He oversees the international department. At that time, Andrew worked in the office. And so we asked for tickets. I wanted to see, I think it was Venezuela versus Italy. I was a big Mike Piazza fan. Big Mike was the hitting coach. We went up. Andrew came down, introduced himself. Hey, it's good, nice to meet you. Appreciate the tickets. Watched the game, went on our way. 6 months later, actually former Niagara strength coach, TJ Harrington, left Niagara to become the big league strength coach for the Anaheim Angels. Was in Toronto, and me and my roommate decided to go up, catch the game. TJ gave us tickets. Andrew was behind home plate. He was running the clock running the radar gun that day on the big board. And I just walked over. I was young. I just learned how to recruit. Asked him 100 questions for 5 innings. I was always supposed to be going an inning, but I was going for 5 innings. And I got back to Canisius the next day, and Coach Matt goes, what did you say to Andrew? He goes, he called me last night, asked if you'd ever be interested in scouting. Not thinking anything of it, and I honestly had no interest in scouting. Zero. I wanted to coach. Well, that fall, again, if you follow the Jays, J.P. Ricciardi was relieved of his duties. Alex Anthopoulos was promoted to general manager, and Andrew Tinish was a scouting director. Alex being a massive scout-friendly GM, he appointed 11 new positions. They needed names, and he called me. And that's kind of how I landed my position with the Blue Jays, and that's kind of where all this started. What has been so unique for me in doing this job, I've been exposed to so many players and coaches all over the country. And this is what I've found, and I really, really believe in this, that it is not about the most talented individual. There are exceptions, don't get me wrong. When Bryce Harper came through, he was a freak. Strasburg came through, was a freak. There are guys like that, but there are so many players that just persevere through the hard work and some of these other things I'm about to talk about. As scouts, we meet and interview with players that we have interest in. It's pieces of the puzzle that goes into the evaluation. We value guys both on and off the field. The more I do this, the more I buy into the player. And it's more about what goes on off the field. So these are the common denominators, and one of which you had right up here, and it's a personal favorite of ours with the Rangers, and that's grit, your work ethic, and players that deal with how they handle adversity. A strong work ethic can only be accomplished, in my opinion, by how you manage time. Quick story about time. There's a turtle that went on a picnic. The turtles, being naturally slow about things, took 7 years to prepare for these outings. Finally, the turtles left home looking for a suitable place. During the second year of their journey, they found it. For about 6 months, they cleaned up the area, unpacked the picnic basket, and completed the arrangements. Then they discovered they had forgotten the salt. A picnic without salt would be a disaster. They all agreed. After a lengthy discussion, the youngest turtle was chosen to retrieve the salt from home. He agreed to go on one condition, that no one would eat until he returned. The family consented, and the turtle left. 3 years passed, and the little turtle had not returned. 5 years, 6 years. Then in the 7th year of his absence, The oldest turtle could no longer contain his hunger. He announced that he was going to eat and began to unwrap a sandwich. At this point, the little turtle suddenly popped out from behind the tree shouting, "See? I knew you wouldn't wait. Now I'm going to go get the salt." Utilize resources and what's available to you. Manage your time. The biggest waste of time I think I ever had were these massive long bus trips. Now, the internet wasn't quite what it is today. I think we were paying by the gigabyte back then. But now with all this, it's amazing the resources you guys have available to you. So you start thinking about, what's the first trip? What is it? How many hours? You going 12? 10? I mean, you're going 10 hours down, 10 hours back. Obviously, there's probably some homework in there. But just think, what if you maybe started listening to podcasts? There's audiobooks. Books, yes, I read books. I know you guys don't think I read books, but I read books. I drive 50,000 miles a year in this job, which is, yeah, when I go take my car and I go, what in the world are you doing? But for a long time, at least 7 or 8 years of it, I didn't do anything. And now I've become more and more people I've been around and I've talked to, especially some of, different coaches and scouts and, people at the higher ranks. This is what they do. And I'm like, well, this is what they're doing to be successful. Why isn't this something I could do? Utilize all those resources that are available to you. You got any finance majors in here? So you know what dividends are, right? You know what pays the best dividend? Don't say a stock. Invest in yourself. Anytime you invest in yourself, it's going to pay the best dividends. When it comes to time management, there's 2 players I've been around. Some you might know, you might have read about them. You're going to hear about it, I guarantee it. You're going to hear about one of them. One is Jordan Adele. Goes by Joe Adele. He was a 10th overall pick. You guys know who he is? Heard the name? Look him up. It's incredible what he does. Joe was a 10th overall pick by the Angels 2 years ago, and we really liked Joe. We picked in the 20s that year. I did a ton of work on Joe. And when I would ask him, Joe, what's kind of your routine? This is a high school kid. He's like, well, I go to school till noon. So that's nice. That's kind of a nice start. But his day literally started at 6 a.m. He had meal prepped. He'd cook all his food the entire week. Knew exactly what he was going to eat. He was that regimented. He'd work out in the morning, and then he'd go to school till 12. Then he'd have his own hitting thing he'd do with his guys. Then he'd have his team practice, and then he would go to speed training at night. And he did this every single day. And it was just incredible how structured this guy was. And then I started learning more and more about him. Like, this is what makes players great. The other one is Jared Kelenic. You guys remember Kelenic? You heard that name this year? He was 6th, maybe 6th overall. And I know I'm talking first rounders here, but there's a reason why these guys are extraordinary athletes and players. But there's a reason. This isn't like they picked it up this year. They've been doing this forever. Jared told me that he stopped working out in the morning because he couldn't get his trainer to show up at 5 a.m. before school, which was incredible to me. But it just showed that how, when it becomes that important to you, what it is and what you need to do in order to get to that next level. The second, and as you saw up here, is grit, which is a term we use a ton. And if you haven't read the book by Angela Duckworth, it is outstanding. We ask ourselves, does the player want to be great? It's not an easy game, I can tell you right now. And it's great you have somebody that you guys have played with that's in the system right now. He can tell you firsthand, what it's like once you get out there. The grittiest player I've ever been around is Kyle Schwarber. Now that I'm in New York, I don't think there's a ton of Cubs fans. But if you watch the World Series that year, so he tears his ACL early in the season. Season's over. That pretty much rehab the entire summer. They sent him to the Fall League, Arizona Fall League, which you're facing the best in there is in systems. He goes in, plays 2 games, and he's hitting. And then all of a sudden, Joe Madden comes out and says he's going to plug him into the lineup. And now I live in Indiana, and I'm obviously being next to Chicago. I mean, they are killing him. What are we doing putting this guy in the lineup? He hasn't even played all season. And his scouts that knew him, we basically said, don't bet against this kid. The first time I ever met Kyle Schwarber, he came in January. Not even able to practice yet, just individuals. Rolls in with his shorts and cut off and sits down. He talks for about 45 minutes. He goes, I'm going to go hit. So, all right, I'm going to go watch you hit. He puts the curveball machine, turns it up as high as it can go. It's throwing these massive hammers from a lefty to a lefty, and he is peppering them. Like, this guy just rolled out of bed and he's hitting. And then you look at what he did in the World Series, and you can say what he's done since, but he helped them win a World Series. Incredible toughness. That's what he had. The last thing you're going to face is adversity, and there's plenty of it in this game. This is why so many companies want to hire baseball guys. You guys finish up here, you'll see. You're gonna be successful 3 times, and you're gonna be okay because you're gonna fail 7 others. That's why so many companies, especially these sales companies, they love baseball guys. There's one player I signed, there's one player I drafted. Ryan Baraki. If you're a Jays fan, you're probably familiar with Ryan. We took him in the 15th round when I was with Toronto. Had a partial torn UCL. We gave him a good chunk of money for being an injury guy. We basically knew this kid's going to face some adversity, and we had to believe he was going to come back from it. He came back from that. He started to pitch. He had bone chips. He needed another surgery. Finally, he's healthy. We run him up to high A. He gets his brains beat in, calling me. He goes, I don't even think I can do this anymore. And if you saw him this year, you're probably saying, how? He won in the big leagues. But he's faced with some serious adversity. He ended up getting demoted to Lansing, ended up getting minor league pitcher of the year, fixed some things down there, came back the following year, started in high A, went to double A, finished here in Buffalo in triple A, started the year this year in Buffalo, and made his big league debut on June 25th. You know, and like I said, it's not easy. You're going to face adversity. It's how you respond to it. The other is Chad Green. I drafted Chad out of high school in 2010, 35th round. We were at 150. He was at 350. I guess if you follow the Yankees, you would like him with the Blue Jays right now. So Chad ends up going to Louisville. It's taken the 11th round. Basically just sitting in the minor leagues. Tigers aren't doing anything with him. He gets his opportunity when he gets traded to the Yankees, which you think you're going to get backlogged. And he didn't. And he made the most of it and ended up getting to the big leagues short time thereafter. The people and players that I have been around that do these things are prepared for opportunities and create them for themselves. When these opportunities come, if you do these things, you're going to be ready. I'm not a big believer in luck. I never have been. I don't say good luck to players. I don't say good luck to coaches. And I've always believed this, and it's probably been instilled in me by my father. I believe in preparation. When preparation meets opportunity, you will have success. When it comes to the on-field stuff, just a quick little thing that I'm doing. We just talked a little bit about the off-field stuff. If you are ever interested in understanding what it is we look for, I have created a new venture. It's called scoutschool.org. Free to sign up. I'm not trying to buy anything, sell anything here, trust me. But my goal and plan is to get players on there, learn about what we look for. I don't think there's a lot of information out there what we look for on field-wise, even the off-field stuff. So, if you get a chance later tonight, check out the website. And like I said, go on, and there's going to eventually, once I build this thing, there's going to be a lot of information, at least give you guys some ideas what it is that we exactly look for. Choosing Niagara was the smartest thing I ever done. It was extremely easy. Nobody else recruited me. This was a place that I grew as an individual and developed as a player. By far, 4 of the best years of my life. And teammates it's been everlasting. I'm ecstatic to have all these guys here tonight. Usually we just get together at weddings. And everyone's married, we're just waiting on Jeff. So whenever he's ready, that'll be our next gathering. I got to thank Coach McCoy for giving me this honor. 13 years ago, I left this program, and it means as much to me today as it did from 2002 to 2006. I want to thank this current team. Enjoy every moment on the field. And I'll tell you what else, enjoy that field. It's a tremendous investment in the program. And if you want to know what it was like before, there are plenty of guys over here and over here that still might have some marks on their face and shins that they might have just wore a ball off of Bobo. If you can feel that on Bobo, you can feel anywhere. That or Magley, one or the other. But it's a tremendous investment in the program. I think speaking to from all the alumni, it was outstanding to see. Definitely kind of puts this program on the forefront. I don't see all the MAC schools like I used to, but I don't really believe much has changed, and I really do believe that this is going to, if right now is the top facility, and if we continue to kind of get behind this group here, we can continue to make it the best facility in this MAC conference. I want to thank my teammates. You guys have been my closest friends since the day we met. I can't thank you enough. Rallying the troops like you have, all you guys that come out tonight, tons of memories, tons of stories that will remain stories behind closed doors. I want to thank Mr. Gentile, who against his better judgment let me into the sport management program. I was the first class to graduate with that degree. Our friendship has long extended past the days here at Niagara. For you guys that are in this class, just don't follow my lead. Just be a good student. Listen to the man. He's doing what's best for you guys. I want to thank my parents who paid all my bills and tuition. Thankfully, they always came long before my grades. To the players, I think it's important, make sure you thank your parents. You know, college isn't free. Traveling all over the country, it costs money. Your parents make countless sacrifices that you probably aren't even aware of. You know, just to see you guys play week in and week out. You know, I know my parents made sacrifices, they still make them today. So, you know, please, thank your parents for everything that they do for you and the incredible support that they have for you guys. Finally, I got to thank my wife, Beth, who she couldn't be here tonight. We have a 5-year-old Miles, and we have 8-month-old twins, Beckham and Raylan, which I think that speaks for itself, why she's not here tonight. Last thought, before we open the floor, I guess I'm allowed questions, correct? There's a book I read to my son, Miles. And it's the only children's book that I'm going to recommend to college students. It's called Oh, the Places You Will Go. And it delivers a tremendous message. It's something I love reading to them. And one excerpt from it, you have the brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the ones who will decide where to go. Oh, the places you will go. And for all you guys, whether it's professional baseball, it's in the professional field, enjoy, like I said, enjoy every moment here. When you get out in the real world, always remember where you came from, where it all started, right back here at Niagara. Thank you. Really there? All right. I'm not Terry Collins. I'm not Eric Wedge. I'm just an area scout. But if there is any questions, feel free. This is like when I talk to my lessons.
I got one.
Uh-oh.
Since you never asked me any in class, I'll ask you. Eye test versus analytics. What do you know?
Eye test. The Rangers are a little old school. We don't do eye tests. There's a lot of teams that do. I can tell you this. The best hitters I've been around hit. I understand when they say, well, he doesn't see the ball, maybe we should check his eyes. If there's something in question, we may. If you're swinging and missing in the zone, that's a concern. If you're swinging and missing at a breaking ball by 5 feet, that's a concern. For the most part, hitters will hit and they will tell you exactly what they're seeing. Just like hitters will tell you what the pitcher is doing. If a pitcher has deception and he's throwing 88 and everybody's swinging and missing, there's deception in there. Analytics, we're starting to get on this train. We're a little bit behind. I believe analytics is a part of the equation. It's not the answer. I think teams that are going 100% analytics are going to miss, because there's nothing in analytics that is going to measure a lot of the things that I talked about. You know, the heart, the will to win, the grit. Last week I spoke and Hawk Harrelson was there. Anybody know Hawk Harrelson? Long-time Chicago broadcaster, played with the Red Sox. He's outstanding. But I quoted him, and it was TW, the will to win. And that doesn't come up in analytics. And I really think you can miss on guys that if you get too caught up in that and you remove the scouting part from the equation, that's where you miss. Because there's nobody out there to do it. I get more out of speaking to a player than any computer number they're ever going to tell me. But like I said, there's a spot for it. When I present a player, our stat guy is going to tell me, hey, he's got great exit velocity, or he got whatever launch angle, whatever they can come up with. You know, that's a piece. The makeup's a piece. The evaluation's a piece. You merge those together, we come up with a final answer. And that ultimately where he may end up on our board. If all those things check out, it's really, really good. You got a chance to go pretty well in the draft. Yes, sir.
I think one of the hardest things to do is not to be a starter, but to be 100% ready when the opportunity comes. And what advice to give to somebody? How to stay alert and ready for when your number is called.
You're saying guys that are already there or trying to get there?
No, a player on any team. When you're not a starter on that team, when you're on the bench.
I screwed this up. And I think a lot of us could say we screwed this up. We never took advantage when we were on the bench. I mean, most of the time we were trying just to stay warm. I mean, I get it. You know, some of us used to hide. Back in the day, we had that little shed in the dugout. Remember the shed? I mean, we used to hide in there all the time to get out of the wind. When you're on the bench, I think it's an incredible amount of information you can gather. Whether it's watching the pitcher, picking up tendencies. All these guys have tendencies. These guys in the big leagues have tendencies. It's incredible what they pick up on. You know, Ryan was tipping his pitches once this year, and the first baseman called timeout because you're tipping your pitches. It's like, you're on the same team. How do you pick that up? But I think on the bench is being involved, communicate, let guys know what you're seeing. You're all in this for the same reason. You know, because at any point in time, your number is going to get called. And it could get called in a ninth inning on a cold day, and maybe you're not ready. You know, and I've seen this 100 times in college baseball, where all of a sudden it's a long game, and somebody comes in the ninth inning to pinch run, and he gets picked off. And the coach goes ballistic. And it comes down to he wasn't ready. You know, so when you're on the bench, you be active, be involved, communicate, talk with your guys. You know, let them know what you're seeing. You know, that's the best advice I can give. I don't care if you're on the bench. You know, you can still help us win today. Because there just might be something you pick up. Try to steal some signs. We had some guys who used to love doing that. Good. All right.
Mike, thanks for being with us. Great words. I was talking to some of your classmates and teammates, and they mentioned your academics, and I said, can you believe it's been 13 years since he graduated? One of them said, I can't believe he graduated. So I won't tell you who. You can try and figure that out. So we're going to turn our attention now. Get your tickets ready. And before we do this, though, one other thank you. Michelle Gabriel, who helped organize the whole basket and auction portion of the night. Michelle, thank you for your help.